In this video, we're going to introduce yet another method to help us to understand and find percentages, and that is the idea of a multiplier. So in general, the concept is we can find any percentage of anything by just multiplying our value by a certain number. Okay. We can also use some equivalences to find any increase or decrease just by understanding what that number could be. So let's start off with a really simple example. Let's imagine we have $30. Okay. Now, if I wanted to find out 1% of this, okay, I know already I need to divide by 100, but there's a way of doing that with multiplication, and that is to times it by 0.01, because dividing by 100 and timesing by 0.01 is the same, okay? So that's how I could find 1%. So I found my multiplier. My 0.01 is known as the multiplier. Now, what about if we think about finding 50%? Well, I know for a fact that I just have to half a number if I'm going to find 50%. But if I'm trying to find the multiplier, well, I think, well, what's that the same as? And of course, it's the same thing as multiplying by 0.5. So this number that we multiply by does exist for both of these two examples. What about if I had to try to find 12% of this 30? Well, we could do that as well. The answer, and I'll tell you this one, is going to be 0.12. Okay, that is our answer there. And think about it, because of course, if I knew this 1% back at the beginning and I times it by 12, I'm going to get 12%. And that is what 0.01 times 12 is. It's 0.12. Okay, so hopefully you're beginning to see a pattern now. Okay, let's move on and have another look at a different example. So it doesn't matter what we start with. Let's just make this up, right? So let's just say we start with $179, and let's try to think about how I could find 13% or 89% or 19%. Now, if I wanted 13%, I'm going to get this number, and this 179, and I'm going to multiply it by 0.13. If I wanted 89%, then I'm going to multiply by 0.89. And if I want this 19% of 179, then I'm going to multiply it by 0.19. So now I can begin to see the pattern going on here. What about if we went a stage further? What about if I took a number like 321, and this time I wanted to find out 17.5%, so a decimal perhaps, or 60%? Or what about we even went as far as trying to find 132%? Could we do this with the same method? Well, yes, we could. Have a think. What do you think the multipliers are for each of these? Well, if I want to find 17.5% of something, I need to times my original number by 0.175. Of course, 17% would have a multiplier of 0.17, and 18% would be 0.18. So 17.5 must be in the middle of those. So it has to be 0.175. If I want to find 60%, well, it's just going to be 0.6. Now, I could write the 0, but there's no need to, because, of course, 0.6 and 0.60 are the same. And what about past 100? Well, we could do this as well. Now, if I wanted to find 32%, it would be 0.32. So if I wanted to find 132%, then that would be 1.32. Now, here's where it gets even more useful, because let's take that 132%. If finding 132% is the same as increasing by 32%. So now actually I have a way of increasing and decreasing using this as well. If I want to increase something by 32%, I could just times by 1.32. And that's going to be how we really get this into a really powerful method that will help us do anything in one quick step.